Hi, Cancers, and welcome to October 2025. Happy Halloween for those of you celebrating. Happy autumn in the Northern Hemisphere and summer in the Southern. All right, let's get started. For some reason, they wanted me to do that, and I didn't do it for all signs, so that may mean something to you. I'm using the Chosen Journey cards. Ace of Fire. So we're leading the month, Cancers, with a lot of drive, passion, determination. It's more of utilizing your creativity, your solar plexus. You could even sacral as well, and root. It is about good news. It's always a yes when you have the Ace of Wands. It's a go ahead. Maybe a new business, a new life, a new journey, a new project, new learning, whatever it is, it's all anew this month. And what's the most important part, Cancer, of the Ace of Wands is not only doing something that, creative, right? Not just doing something creative, but loving what you're doing. That makes the difference for everyone, in life. You have to have passion, drive, you have to love what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just wasting your own time. All right. Look at that. So, something that you've been working on, now the Page of Pentacles comes in. Interesting because we have the dynamic of the fastest energy of let's go, but Spirit's saying, hold on, Cancers, wait. Whatever you're working on, you may be needing to tweak it. It may need more work. Sorry, can you see that? Let me just push it back a minute. Okay. You may need to revise a few small issues. This is, to me, some of you, if it's not about a project, I've been on this long journey and now I know that what I have to do in order to drive this new life, new journey, new beginning, new project forward, I know now. So maybe what you didn't know was that to be successful in anything and to also be successful just on your journey, spiritually speaking, you do have to be all heart. And it's been a long journey. It's been trials and tribulations there it is. For some of you, it is. It's like, I have to know, first of all, what I'm doing. Maybe you also have to know where you're headed. Maybe it's time to do some research, ask questions. The best advice about anything that you're getting ready to undertake is asking someone who's already been there, done that. They in a place of, they're the CEO, if you want to be a CEO, or you're headed toward a goal of some sort, but your heart has to be in it. And if it's confused, if it's love, and you're confused in any way, shape, or form, it's like you just got to step back and take a minute. Let's see what's under here. Look at that. Take a minute. What the good news is, you're very hopeful for the future. All right. Whatever your heart wants, you're going to get, but you do have to know what it is that you want first, right? You may need to dabble, right? Whether you're dating and on the prowl, or whether you're dabbling in a project and it needs tweaking, or whether it's, you're just getting started on something new, maybe a new location for a home, whatever it is that you're looking for, you do have, the good news is you have hope for the future. it's just the most important card right here is you got to know what it is that you really want. And if it's love, same thing, right? We have to follow our heart. Some of you have been praying, wishing, hoping, and praying. You know, it's like, maybe you took a little respite. Maybe you needed a little vacation. Maybe you need to go away for a minute. You know, like take a week off, right? Maybe you're taking a week off from work. Or maybe this is your time to I'm hearing, you know, get on a road trip. Maybe you're doing a road trip. You're looking at new locations that, you know, places where I'm getting this card as like you're in LA. All right, let's just say you're in LA and you can't find land in LA, but you can find it in Maine, in Utah, in Wyoming, in Iowa. There's places where land is profitable, you know, that's profitable. It's profit. Some of you are literally doing, investing in land also. Like you're investing in, I'm not going to tell you what to do. If you have a portfolio, maybe you're looking at buying gold, silver, mining of some sort, any kind of a mining, oil, anything like that. You could be also looking and investing and working. Maybe you're doing nonprofit. I'm hearing for some of you, nonprofit for water conservation and or the environmental, something about proceeds for the environmental water, for water, cleansing the water, looking into the water, knowing also that water holds knowledge. So there's a lot here. Really, it's beautiful, actually, Cancers. It's really beautiful. Yeah, you're very hopeful about the findings. What you find, the knowledge that you obtain in the month of October is going to be off the chain. Because you're going to find that there are places where you can live really happily and really a simple, let's say, life with land and or water, right? I feel, I don't know why, I'm feeling like Wyoming. You know? Having a nice, you know, the simple joys. This reminds me of the simple joys in life. The things that we, unfortunately, take for granted. All right, let's see. And really now appreciating those things. Look at this. 9 of Cups. So I'm going to tell you, don't be upset, but there could also be someone drinking, closet drinking, or drinking, excessive drinking. And so this could be someone is telling you they're slowly trying to slow down on drinking. You know, maybe someone's saying, yeah, I'm really going to stop drinking. I'm going to get help for that. And maybe you have hope. You do hope that that happens, because it could be, I don't know, it could be a parent. I'm going to say father figure first. It could be a father figure that's drinking heavily because there's so many questions about where we're headed, about life in general, about, you know, confused as to what the next, you know, where the next, let's say, part of your life is headed. So someone could be drinking heavily or telling you they're stopping or slowing down. Maybe they're going to AA, you know, the Lovers. This could be also the decision of a love relationship is somewhat up for grabs, where we're like, okay, you know, I need a sign. Is this person the real deal or not? Well, for me, The Lovers is, this is a choice. So maybe you have a choice between, you're confused because you may be a little concerned about someone's drinking habits. You may be dating two people, Cancers. You could be dating two people, and you're like, well, I really like this about so-and-so, and then I really like that about someone else, right? So you are weighing options. For some of you, you are looking for answers and asking Spirit to help guide you. And underneath that, do I stay or do I go? If you're already in a relationship, that's what it is. Now, excuse me, if you're already paired up, Cancers, you may be moving or moving on. You made your choice right here. You made your choice, and now you're moving in together, or you're now taking this relationship to, if it's not a physical location where you're moving in together. Some of you could be moving out of your home, and, maybe you're separating from someone and you've chosen to be with someone else, or you have been dating for a while and you finally have made the choice to be with one person. Some of you, the person that you're choosing could be living in another state, or I don't feel it's country. I actually feel it's like, you're East Coast, they're West Coast, something like that. So there could be a lot of traveling involved. I do also feel that someone could be taking a carriage ride, or you're going on vacation. Commitment here. So I am going to say this is about a family dynamic. Also, if you've making a choice as far as settling in and settling down, you are going to maybe move in together. There could be children involved if there is a move-in together. You could have kids, or they could, you could be a step-parent. Now, if this is a family dynamic, I am feeling and holding true to the fact that someone in the family drinks too much, and maybe it's coming to someone's attention that, they have a lot of confusion and issues that they have to, decide upon. And in doing so, it's not like, when some of you, it's alcoholism, yes. But for others of you, it's just a lot of stuff is on your table. You have a lot of decisions to make. If it's a relationship and or a place of living, changing it, or moving in together, or hoping that someone will decide to be with you, and vice versa. If this is a third party, I am going to say it because look at her face right here. Her face is like there's jealousy. There could be envy or jealousy around this relationship. There could be family members that are a little jealous about your relationship. And honestly, if it is or was a choice between two people, the person that obviously wasn't picked is jealous and watching. If it is that you're married and you got divorced and now you're moving in with this person and it's your kids or their kids, you know what I mean? And you're a step parent, that's also on the table here. So there's a lot. Wow, 10 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles. Wow. This is, okay, some of you, I'm going to say it. Some of you, I feel, decided that your heart for a minute, hold on, look. I feel some of you were having some real questions about where your heart really, what your heart really felt about two people. Or it was maybe, if it is, or if it was, I'm married and I fell in love. I fell in love with someone maybe that I work with. Or I met someone through family, a family member, or a family business. And honestly, if you did fall in love with someone, you did make the choice whether to stay or to go. And whatever that choice is for you, because I can't tell you what it is, this is not a personal, but I can tell you that you decided that you're happy forever, you're happily forever after, let's say, was chosen, and the other person is jealous. Now, if there's no third party here, then I will tell you that there are people in your environment, your family, maybe they don't like this person. Maybe they think, you may have perhaps made, not a good choice. But I feel that overall, your choice to be happy and your forever happiness lies with one person that you did choose. And this is a 3, and there's 3 people here. So if there was a third party, I do have to say that you chose your husband and or wife to stick it out and make the best of it, and maybe even rekindle that loving feeling for some of you. You could have been going to a festival, a carnival. I know it sounds the same, but it's not. It really isn't. Carnivals have rides. Festivals don't necessarily have rides. Fireworks, a lot. Yeah, there you go. You're staying married. So if someone had a fling, if someone was tempted by the fruits of another, that could be temptation. You're like, maybe someone confused you for a minute and you were tempted. And then you were like, wait a second, there's no way. Firestorm. Yeah, karma, drama, endings, loss, and a breakdown. So something had to break down in order for you to realize that what you have is a happy ending, a happy place. I feel that, a lot of, and I'm going to say it, a lot of affairs, right? When someone has an affair, or there's a choice, let's say, between 2 people, you usually look seriously into who makes you the happiest in your heart of hearts, right? And I also feel that if it is a marriage, it's very difficult to say, especially this is long-term marriage with kids involved. We've been together for maybe like 10, 20 years here. So no one's going anywhere in terms of longevity in a marriage already with kids. You live together I'm saying marriage because it's here. But if it was a temptation and someone went for it, then they realized. And sometimes, what's leading up to this is when you do sometimes go outside of a long-term relationship or marriage, that lends itself to get a better, clearer vision of what you always and already have that makes you happy. It's like it solidifies it, and no, it's, however you see it and whatever you believe in is what, realizing that you and this person that you've been with long term are your twin flame. So maybe I do feel Cancer, some of you Cancerians had a bout of doubt in your marriage or your long-term relationship, whatever it is, sacred union. I feel like you were questioning where your heart was and whether or not this is worth keeping And at the end of the day, if it's not a third party, if you were confused, you're no longer confused, because what you realized is, for some of you, that this passion, this fire passion of love is different than a firestorm. So you probably had to go through something very, like I said, you went through a temptation only to come out, I'm not going to say unscathed, but you came out of it at least knowing that whomever you've chosen, it is the one. And sometimes we are led astray. Like I said, we are led astray so that we understand what and realize what you have to begin with. So you went through a breakdown in a relationship only to get a breakthrough for what you really love and whom you love, and you're no longer confused about that, where your heart is. And I am going to say it because they're telling me this. They're saying that you could have gone on a vacation with like a lover, right? And you go on this vacation with this person and you're like, oh my God. Or you're just dating two people, right? And in the interim of like the runner-chaser situation, you're dating, right? And you end up thinking to yourself, what am I doing? This was a test, because all it was physical. There was no substance. And that's what happens, whether it's an affair or it's not. What happens is you realize that, and you come to realize, which I've been talking about with my clients for years, is, oh my God, what happens when the sex is gone? God forbid. Or the physical nature of someone or disability happens in a relationship. You gotta deal with, that's why it's so important. You do have to deal with someone on every level. And when it gets very real is when we bridge the gap from the root chakra down here, the sacral and solar, and then we jump to the heart. And once we get to the heart is where we make this decision. Is this a time for me to stay or go? Because someone packed their bags and says, I'm out, I'm going back to my husband or wife because this is more solid and secure than just, right? Just physical sex. What do we have? We had nothing to talk about. There's no swords here. There was nothing to talk about. We had probably, sorry, but it's true, sometimes you have nothing in common with anyone except the physical chemistry. And that's the trick of Mother Nature, That's God chose that external for people to be, tempted by, just like Adam and Eve, to learn from. 8 of Wands. So you're rushing. You're not going slow anymore. You're not questioning where your heart is. You're like, when you were like at a standstill, you're like, now I'm out of here. I'm rushing back. And if you are rushing back to someone who has always been there for you through thick and thin, time and time again, you're like, oh my God, I almost lost the most important person in my life. that comes with a cost, right? It comes with a cost. I know you can't see these cards. Hold on. Let me turn my light on. 1 second. Okay. So I was doing your read. Sorry. I was doing your read in the dark. Actually candlelit. So some of you, you know, that was the sexy part, right? The candlelit dinners, the drinking, the sex, right? And then there was none. Aries, you chose. I'm telling you, Cancers, right now, you've been dealing with that Aries who's been hanging around. Someone, if this is your twin or this is your spouse, whatever, your person that you chose to stay with, let me tell you, this person has been through it with you. You finally realized what was most important in your life, or someone did. If it's not you, they did, right? Sometimes when you're already in an established relationship, right? Whether you're married or in a sacred union, you do. It's part of life. You get tempted. Someone's younger, they're sexy, they are tempting you with all of their physicality. You know, you have a couple drinks, you go to dinner, the candles are going. It lasts for, I don't know, let's say, I don't know, maybe it lasts for a year. But in the backdrop, if you watched, I would have to say, last month's read, this person has been waiting for you in terms, it hasn't been easy. I'm telling you, if you're dealing with an Aries, they're giving you hell because they're going through hell. Got it? Someone who gives you a hard time or is giving you hell about, even if it's not a third party, and this is about, listen, you've been drinking too much and I noticed we need to slow it down, we need to talk about it. Well, we're not talking about it, but there needs to be, maybe you do have hope now that something that you took for granted or they took you for granted now is coming to the reality of, you know, I really care and I love this person and I don't want, you know, I don't want to be without them. So your true emotions come out, you know, as always. And luckily, you know, at a very small price of, you know, some of you realized, and maybe you did realize that this is part of your spiritual journey, is going through what you had to go through, which some would call the dark night of the soul. You know, sometimes you think that one thinks that, you know, your intuition was not working, or you're okay, if you were drinking, your intuition won't work. You know what I mean? Because your intuition is led by your gut. And that's the second heart. Your gut, that feeling, right? I got that feeling that if I don't do something about this, I'm going to pay a hefty price. So in October, Cancers, you're realizing all of this is now, it's kind of like, I'm going to say it is coming or has come to a head in October, where you're now realizing that you need to follow your intuition. You need to see, and you do see, you're being led to see, and it's taken a little while. You're being led to see what relationships really truly mean to you, and the sacrifice and the choice. All right. I love you guys. Have a great month. Good luck.